Alright, so because no one in my last anime review voted on anything, you guys gotta leave comments if you want me to review shit. So, because no one said anything, I just decided to do whatever the hell I want, and this time I'm going to do Accel World, the little lesser known anime done by the same writer as Sword Art Online. I'm going to be explaining, giving like a short summary of the series, my impressions overall, what I thought about it, how I felt at the end, and my rating for it, and also why it's 100% better than Sword Art Online. But we'll get to that later. So, this anime follows Haruyuki, the main character, a high school student, or I think junior high school student. It's not really explained, and I can't understand the Japanese education system. Who is basically the little piece of shit in every classroom. He has nothing going for him. He is one of the most worthless main characters I've seen in anime, like period, at the beginning of the series. He's literally drawn so that he's not like any other character in the series, and I don't mean that in a good way. He looks like a fucking piece of shit. Even more so when we see his avatar. Now, there are two avatars that people have, and I'm going to explain how that works first. So, in this world, it's around 30 years progressed into the future, and they have this piece of technology called the Neurolinker. It is a small band that fits around the wearer's neck and collects them to the internet. And it has an augmented reality purpose to it. So, for the most part, classrooms are basically a teacher standing in front, messing with the board in a digital landscape, and then students are taking notes, or most likely, because these are students, on Facebook and fucking around and shit. Like, it's school. Like, this is even worse. Like, you know how in high school no one actually looks at shit? They're just pretending to write down shit, but they're actually on their phone with their other hand. Like, that's even worse, because now teachers can't even tell when they're on their phone or just fucking around on Facebook. So this is it's more ridiculous. So there's this game called Brain Burst. It is the key focus of the story. In this game, you are given an avatar that is a manifestation of your hopes and fears, and and its powers and abilities and shape are represented by your emotional scars and traumas. This is one of the most popular, but one of the most underground games in this world. For some reason, the game was released 7 years ago anonymously for reasons unknown to the players, and it is given like three major ways to hide itself. First, the game is the only way to actually play the game is to have a neurolinker since the day you were born, so since infancy, and because of that, no adults have ever even played Brain Burst, and the kids do not want people to know about it, so they're just keeping it to themselves. Excuse me. Oh god. Excuse me. Next, the Brain Burst install does not always work, and only one person can try to install it per. So if you are a Brain Burst player, if you're a Burst Linker, you cannot, which is what they call themselves, you cannot try to install this game in another person's software, another person's Neurolinker, with more than once. And you can't do it to more than one person. That's it. You get one, you're one and you're done. If it fails, it fails. Next, if a Burst Linker loses all of their points and their points hit 0, Brain Burst will automatically uninstall and be removed from their Neurolinker, and it is impossible to trace. For whatever reason, the players know that the purpose of the game is to level up, but there is no logic to what is going on in the game, why it was invented, and it's kind of irritating in that purpose. It's kind of like the same in Sword Art Online, where Kayaba Akihiko just decides to trap people in the game and kill hundreds of people, but ultimately never explains why he invented Sword Art Online in the first place or why he went through the trouble. It's a major sorry. I'm not gonna do a retake on this shit. I'm doing this once. It's a major plot hole that is just vastly irritating throughout the entire story. It makes the audience wonder, why did they invent this game? But almost no one in the game, none of the players really try to ask that question. None of them whatsoever. So the story follows Haruyuki, the main character, who is the world's most worthless piece of shit. Like he's the runt of the litter. His existence is basically shitted upon by everyone else, to the point that the little character design of him looks different than every other person in this bitch. Like ridiculously so. When he gets brain burst from another main character, Kurayuki Hime, and yes, that is her name. That's the only name we get from her. Kurayuki Hime. It literally sounds like that's her PSN. Like, yo, why is your legal name your PSN? Like, imagine if you met someone and they were like, hi man, my name is John. Like, oh, what's your name? My name is, I fucked your mom last night. I'm sorry, what? I fucked your mom last night in '69. Nigga, what the fuck did you say? Like that's the kind of shit I hear when bitches like Kurayuki Hime. Moving on from that, the Brain Burst game is a ridiculous fighting game, and I mean this in the weirdest way. It's like a MOBA, but it has both. It has both MOBA multi battles where you can group up with your friends and fight other burst linkers, or you can duel. The dueling system is fairly good, but the problem is the burst points. The burst points are used for one of three reasons. One, to accelerate in the real world. Acceleration essentially boosts the brainwaves of a burst linker to 100 times that of the normal rate and puts them in a virtual landscape using the cameras in the area around them. That's insane. So in order to accelerate, and it literally gives people a ridiculous advantage, because I think it's 1,000 times, but 1,000 seconds in the burst accelerated mode equals 1 second in reality. So you can just fuck around for a good 5 minutes, do whatever the hell you want, and then get some real shit done in the time that a normal person would take like half an hour. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's madness. It's too much of an advantage, which is probably why it's so addicting to all of the people who play the game. Next, burst points are used to level up. The highest level that any character has reached is level 9, and the only way to reach level 10 is to fight 5 other level 9 players and win. The problem is, one, the only people who are level 9 are kings and are ridiculously powerful. Two, if you lose even one match, you lose all your burst points. So you can go 4-0, fuck up once, and you're done permanently. It's an all or nothing plan, and it honestly, it doesn't even say that level 10 is the end. It can honestly mean that level 10, you have to now fight 12 level 10 enemies with the same conditions. Who even knows? But because of that, there is a arbitrary truce between the kings of pure colors, as they call them. Again, this series is incredibly, incredibly ridiculous. So, I forgot to put a fucking spoiler alert warning at the beginning of my video. That's why I stopped for a minute and I just realized, oh fuck. Forget it. The problem is here that because of that, the game is sort of stagnant, where characters are sort of just boring and enemies are not really introduced. Like, we see what the other kings look like, but we don't really see what they can do, other than the second Red King, Scarlet, the fucking Yellow King, who is we barely see for even 2 episodes, and the Black King, fucking Black Lotus, the ridiculous one who decided to declare war on the other kings and instantly assassinated the first Red King. It was ridiculous. But again, this review is mostly for people who saw the anime, so I shouldn't be explaining it for too long. And that's basically where I'm going to stop my explanation of this shit. For those of you who have seen this anime, you probably going to know what I'm going to complain about first. I saw the English and the Japanese versions of the series. I saw both of them last night. So, the first thing I want to mention. Goddamn English version uses Japanese honorifics. I hate that. I hate that with an unholy passion. You should not, in English, for any reason, be calling people senpai and putting kun at the end of their names. Oh my god, Takuma-kun. Like, what the fuck? It's annoying. It's extremely, extremely annoying. And it serves no purpose in an English dub. Why is it in the English dub? I've seen like the Medica Box anime do this, and I have seen this shit do this. Why is this a thing? Beyond that, there's nothing I have like a problem with the English dub. The only thing that's annoying is Haruki's voice, and Haruki's voice is annoying in both versions of the series. Another problem that I have with the series: Haruki is a little piece of shit in multiple ways. Not before he is a burst linker is bad, but after he becomes a burst linker, and literally the weirdest thing, the cutest girl in his school actually likes him. And he thinks that she's using him as a pawn. Now, I can understand his logic behind that, because if you're treated as shit your entire life, and someone actually doesn't treat you like shit, you're probably going to be suspicious. But dude, gift horse, looking it in the mouth, why are you doing that? Second, because he has the rarest of all fucking burst linker abilities, the ability to fly, the moment that he loses it, he becomes a little shit again. Like, he had one good thing going for him, and then he loses it, but he still had his friends with him, and then he's like, oh, fuck it, I'm losing my shit. You probably just want to steal my senpai from me. Like, he breaks down emotionally, and it's pathetic. The other problem that I have with the series. There is this part where they introduce a secret society of researchers who invented brain implants to help other burst linkers cheat in the real world. It became a whole subplot, and it never got explored. Mostly because the series ended. Now, the series ending on 24 episodes is kind of standard for a season. Now, the fact that they left it off with a cliffhanger would imply that they would want to bring it back, but they never did. Mostly because of Sword Art Online's existence. Sword Art Online overshadowed Accel World's existence vastly. Most people don't even realize that it's from the same author, let alone that Accel World even exists. Because it's lesser known and Sword Art Online was dick rodent to unbelievable levels, it just became vastly overshadowed. Now, here's why I'll make the comparison between the two. Sword Art Online has better animation than Accel World. Even though Accel World has sharp animation, it has fluid, great art, Sword Art Online has better animation. The music in Sword Art Online is better. But the story progression, the story, and the characters in Accel World, shit. I mean literally shit on every single character in Sword Art Online 1,000 times over. It is ridiculous. The main character, Haruyuki, is a pile of shit, but he is an underdog. And everyone loves to see an underdog scrounge up and climb his way to the mountaintop. It is something that all people enjoy to watch, because it makes it relatable to them. The problem with Kirito is he's perfect. He's so goddamn perfect. Niggas, every goddamn person in every RPG where you can create a character, I always see Kirito Sasuke Uchiha or Son Goku Uchiha Kirito. It's ridiculous. Kirito is dick rodent to unbelievable levels. And it's because he's so perfect. Furthermore, the best part about Accel World is the female characters are useful. I repeat, the female characters are useful. In fact, the female characters are more badass and more powerful than the male ones by far, and that includes the MC. It is ridiculously so. Furthermore, I hate how that shit is not the case in Accel World. All of the female characters don't do shit in Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online, the female characters don't do shit. And it's pathetically sad. But moving on from that. The real point that proves that Sword Art Online isn't better than Accel World is the fact that Sword Art Online starts on a high point. But even though, and then dramatically decreases, comes back for a second season, and then dramatically decreases again. The second half of the second season is pure filler. There's no purpose to it. The second half of the first season is far worse than the first half. But even the first half, the best part of Sword Art Online, the first 12 episodes, has a good 6 or 7 episodes of filler content. There is literally episodes where they do not in any way try to progress through the levels and literally are just playing house to the point that they have a child. In the confines of the first 12 episodes, what was the purpose of that child? I know she becomes more useful after that, but in the confines of the first 12 episodes, what was the purpose of it? None. The dramatic sense of danger that was felt in Sword Art Online dramatically falls in less than 12 episodes. The good part about Accel World is it starts off slow, has world building, and improves and improves and improves and improves at a gradual rate that is appropriate for the series. It even takes a spike at some points in quality, which is great. This is why, in my opinion, Accel World is far better than Sword Art Online, even though I doubt half of the people who watch my review will even agree with me, or even consider to take the time to think that I'm right, or possibly right. Again, this is just my opinion. All of my reviews are based on my opinion, all of my reviews are based on my impressions of something. So, the final thing that I want to talk about. For any of you who are Accel World fans like me, you may be depressed by the fact that it didn't have a Season 2. It didn't have a Season 2, and it's probably never going to have a Season 2. Because, one, it got overshadowed by Sword Art Online, and two, this shit came out in 2012. It's been 4 years, and there's been no mention of a Season 2. There is a movie coming out, which is interesting, and it might bring back the hype level to the point that fans might ask for a Season 2. But that being said, one, I doubt that because the author of this series has milked Sword Art Online to the death and is probably going to continue to do so. Why would he invest time and energy in something that didn't make enough money as Sword Art Online and probably won't? Two, I know there is a light novel. I think the light novel has surpassed the point of the anime at this point because apparently the light novels came out, I think, after the goddamn anime did, because I looked when the anime aired, I looked for a manga and it didn't exist. But after the anime was done, the manga came out, which was weird. I don't know whether that's translation delay or whatever, but that was weird. Furthermore, the biggest issue is this: if it comes back, how many of you will watch it? How many of you will honestly watch the series? I mean, I will. If it's as good as how it is before, and the animation budget has improved, and the animation has improved, and they add good music, I'm done. I'm watching it like nothing else. But that being said, I doubt most people will. Sword Art Online has been dick road to unbelievable levels to the point that this shit is probably never coming back. Hopefully the movie will perpetuate something, but who knows at this point. So for my verdict for this series, I'm giving this series an 8.6. It's a solid anime. I'm not reviewing the light novel in this review, but in terms of the anime is solid. The animation is good. The story starts off good and gets progressively better, and ultimately it feels amazing. The only problem is the fact that it has cliffhangers and questions unanswered, which is not really the fault on the anime, but more the fault on the fact that there wasn't a season 2. So, Beyond that, I give it an 8.6. It's great. I highly recommend it. If you want to watch a good anime and you haven't seen Accel World, watch it. I don't know why you would watch a full series review if you didn't already see this. Like, this shit contains spoilers, my nigga. Why spoilers? Why would you? I don't want any comments about fucking spoilers. No fucking spoiler comments. Put in the comments section.